Hey guys, we're at that time of the year where people are thinking about New Year's resolutions. And the truth is that for most people, early on into that next year, they're going to slowly fall off to the wayside. Life is going to come back in full force, and you're largely going to be back where you started from. That's the truth of it. So before we go down that road of pleasant thinking but little action, I wanted to share a personal story with you that may change the way that you look at that. About 3 years ago, my life was as different as it is today that you could possibly imagine. My wife and I had recently welcomed our first child, Mickey. My business was drastically in need of a makeover and growth and development, but I had no idea how to do that. I was dealing with being a father and being sleep deprived, as I'm sure all the parents out there can identify with. My wife and I, we were having problems. We're having money problems. We were having debt problems. Money was something that at the time that I really wasn't taking very seriously. I was really in bad shape. And I remember very clearly waking up one morning. It had been a terrible night. Neither me nor my wife had gotten much sleep the night before. Mickey was just acting up like crazy. And I woke up that morning and this is on the tail end of months of stress, and I wonder if you can relate with this, months of waking up early and just worrying, waking up with that cold sweat, thinking, what is the future going to hold, and why can I make this happen for myself, and how am I possibly going to prioritize the 50 different things in my life that need improvement? How do I even get started? It was a rough time. It was a really, really rough time. And it was hard to look at myself in the mirror sometimes in those days because I felt like a failure. And I felt like I was letting people down, and I was letting my family down. And they're the ones, more than anything, that I was doing all of this for. So I remember, this was maybe a Tuesday, it was the middle of winter, waking up and just being at this space in my life where I was walking in and I was so frustrated, and I walked into Mickey's nursery and I saw him sleeping there, and I just was overcome with this feeling of not disappointment, or not just disappointment in that moment, but anger. And the anger was directed towards myself, and it was directed towards my situation. And for the first time, I said to myself, I'm not going to tolerate this. Not, I want this to get better. Not, oh my gosh, what the hell am I going to do to improve my situation? It was, I'm not going to tolerate this. Do you understand the difference? It's not coming from a place of weakness or fear. It was really coming from a place of anger and total frustration, where I said to myself, I'm not tolerating this. I'm not tolerating not having enough money to create a college fund for my child. I'm not stressed. I'm not tolerating waking up every morning not knowing what the future is going to hold, or whether I'm even going to be able to, pay the mortgage or take a vacation. My God, that fantasy. I'm not going to tolerate having this stress boil over and affect and negatively impact my family. I'm not tolerating any of that anymore. It's done. It's done. It's done. And I backed out of that nursery, because luckily he was sleeping a little bit there. And I went into the bathroom and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Anish, I am not doing this anymore. This game of this situation, of your somehow thinking that this is okay to be at this level, is over. It's done. So it's not a resolution I made. It's actually pretty far away from a resolution. A resolution is a very positive thing, okay? Don't get me wrong. Positive thinking can get you a lot. It can get you pretty far. But when the new year comes and you've made a promise to yourself to take your career to the next level, to finally let go of this dead noose job that you've had that is way beneath what you're capable of. When the new year comes along and your boss starts giving you grief again, and the tasks start piling up again, and the stresses of family and bills and everything else in your life start piling up again, you know what? In my experience, positive thinking only goes so far. And positive thinking doesn't really help when you're dealing with long-held beliefs and long-held habits, sometimes negative habits. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Rather than being like everybody else, and making some kind of resolution, specifically professionally, for this coming year, I want you to do the opposite. I want you to get mad. I want you to get frustrated. I want you to be in this mode of just saying, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not good with this anymore. I'm not accepting this mode of living and this lowered standard for myself and my family and everyone I care about. No more. It's done. It's over from this day. I'm not tolerating this anymore. I'm not tolerating anything less than what I know in my heart I deserve and what my talents deserve and push me and impel me to become. So get angry. Get frustrated. Get just so fierce in yourself that you're going to break out of this no matter what. And no one is going to tell you otherwise. Not a boss, not a spouse who maybe isn't up and doesn't get you yet. Whatever it is, whoever you have, whatever negative pulls you have in your life, now is the time to let all of that go. Now is the time to look at the person in the mirror, the only real person that you need to be accountable for, and say, yes, I see you. I see what I'm capable of. And from this day forward, anything that falls short of this bar that I am setting for myself, that is unacceptable to me. That is absolutely unacceptable. And whatever you have to do, I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if you have to work 8 to 10 hours at your job and then spend time with your family and then pull all-nighters successively day in, day out, to network, to relationship build, to get yourself in the door at companies. Whatever you got to do. I don't care if you need to spend money, resources, time working with someone like myself or just working on it yourself to get your platform up, LinkedIn, resume, everything up. Not at your current level, not at the unacceptable, intolerable level, but at the level that you need to be. I don't care what you have to do. Make a promise to yourself that energy is not going to get in the way of it. Time is not going to get in the way of it. Resources is not going to get in the way of it. You're going to do whatever it takes to get there. You don't know what it's going to take. It's probably going to take more than what you're thinking of that it's going to take right now. Welcome to planet Earth. That's what you're going to have to do. All right. And I want you to set that bar, not in terms of resolution, but in terms of just, I'm not tolerating this another day. And from that place of anger and frustration, I want you to carve out a better life and a better career for yourself. Today, now. That's what I did for myself. That was the moment that turned it around. Not positive thinking, not some resolution that gets discarded and that makes you feel good for a couple of weeks. Everyone does that. Everyone makes excuses for being less than they are. And I challenge you in this coming year to not be that person. I challenge you to be more than that. To be great, to be spectacular, to be in that top 1% of people and achievers. Because you know you have it in you. And you know that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can't lie to yourself. And I don't want you to have to lie to yourself. I want you to look in that mirror and say, I did it. I'm there. That's what changed it to me, looking at my son, looking at my wife, looking at myself and saying, I'm done. It's over. And whatever I had to do, I worked day in, day out, tirelessly. I worked when the baby was crying. I worked when I was talking and networking with people, and I was cradling Mickey in my arms, trying to get him to go to sleep because my wife was also out there working. I was doing whatever it took. And that's what I want for you. To say, this is enough. We're done. We're going to do this. It changed my business. It changed my relationship with my wife. It changed the depth of the bond that I have with my now 2 children. It changed my future. It gave me hope for what the next coming decades are going to look like. It allowed me to plan from a position of power. And it gave me the leverage to say, I'm bigger than anyone's situation. All right, no one has the power to affect my goals and my dreams and where I'm going but me. So that's the promise I want you to make for 2017. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being with me on this journey this year. I hope you've gotten some great value here. I'm so excited for 2017. I got to tell you, I've got some big stuff coming down the pipeline that I think is really going to help you, help those people who are watching, who are the hustlers and the hungry. I'm going to give you guys some great food and some great information and tips right from the trenches to help this out. I wish you guys all the happiness and joy this holiday season, and I wish you all the achievement and hustle and success in the coming year. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you soon.